At the end of my 2021 stats video, I made this statement.
My electricity use is going to have to go up, but also coupled with that, prices of electricity are going up enormously next year, so it's going to be quite an interesting set of results at the end of 2022.
And boy, did prices go up massively this year. So let's have a look at how that impacted my overall figures for 2022. Well, we generated 8,679 kilowatt hours in 2022. This compares with 7,456 in 2021. So we're definitely doing a lot better this year. Maybe that's because, in part, my shed solar has been active for the entire of 2022, whereas in 2021 it only came online partway through the year. But that really wouldn't account for the entire difference. So I think just 2022 was a sunnier year than 2021. And also 2022 looks more like a standard curve for the year. So, you know, the best production was the middle of the year, June, July, and, you know, slowly ramps down either side of that, which is what you would expect typically. But in 2021, you see, we had this fantastic April where we actually generated more than we did in June, and almost as much as in July. But that was a very unusual year. So 2022, much more like normal. Best month was July. That's to be expected. The typical double bump you can see from my wall-mounted solar, where I get the best production of those in sort of March and April, and then again in sort of September, October time. Whereas all the other roof-mounted panels, you get the best production in the middle of the year. So the best day out of 2022 was on the 27th of May. And we can see that here. And yeah, it was obviously a little bit cloudy in the morning because there's a lot of jaggies up until about 10 o'clock. But after that, it's a fairly clear day. So we could have generated potentially a little bit more on that day if it wasn't for that bit of jaggies in the morning. But 52 kilowatt hours is not bad. In 2021, our best day was in April, and that was 54 kilowatt hours on that day. So that was definitely part of this super sunny April we had in 2021. But yeah, higher production on the best day in April in 2021 than I got on my best day in 2022, which was in May. So the worst day was on the 12th of December, and that's just barely registering. As you can see, it was just 0.1 kilowatt hours that day. Most of it was basically just what the inverters themselves were consuming. So there was very, very little actual production in terms of energy going into the house, 0.1 kilowatt hours. But if you look back in 2021, yeah, the worst day there was on Christmas Day. And on that day, we generated a half a kilowatt hour. So 2022's worst day was significantly worse than any other day in 2021. But yeah, there's still in December, as you'd expect, it's getting close to the shortest day. So yeah, that's all ties in nicely. So all of the power that we generated in 2022, we managed to use nearly 90% of it, and we had to export about 10% of it. So that compares pretty much like for like with 2021, where we also kept 90% of it and exported about 10%. So no real improvement there, but also it's no worse. 10% is what it is. It'd be nice to get that to around 5, which is sort of typically what I get on a per month basis, but we'll see what happens in 2023. But for 2022, yeah, we're still exporting about 10% of all the power we're generating, which is not bad, but obviously the more of it I can keep, the better. Totaling up my bills from Octopus Energy for 2022, I can see that we imported 4,685 kilowatt hours from the grid. Now most of that would have been during the off-peak time between midnight and 4:30 in the morning that I get on Octopus Go. But there would have been a small amount during the daytime as well, here and there. So the average price I paid for a unit of electricity from Octopus in 2022 was 7.98 pence, so nearly 8 pence per kilowatt hour. So that's pretty good, considering that the sort of headline price now is about 38 pence a kilowatt hour. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased that I've managed to get that to about 8 pence a kilowatt hour, and that is because of my battery system. So when I do have to use grid energy, which is mostly in the winter months, I charge my home batteries up at night time from that in that 4-hour period using that cheap rate electricity, and then I run the house off them during the day, and that helps to keep my average unit price down at close to 8 pence a kilowatt hour. So that's pretty good. And then on top of that, obviously we generated 8,679 kilowatt hours from the solar, and as my solar has now effectively recouped all of its costs, that energy is effectively free. And so when you add that all together and average out the price for all the electricity we've used this year, we get an average of 2.79 pence per kilowatt hour. And this is, you know, the real advantage of having solar panels. So we have used almost a megawatt hours more electricity in 2022 than we did in 2021. Now this we can put down to the fact that we have now bought the Tesla Model 3 and gotten rid of our Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. So where in 2021 we were doing some of our mileage using petrol, especially if we were going long distances, in 2022 we have been using the Tesla, so we're using electricity to do those longer journeys now. So we did still buy some petrol in 2022 while we still had the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. We bought £482 worth of petrol, and the last time we bought petrol was in May. Since May we have not been to a petrol station. We just now have 2 full EVs and we charge at home, and so yes, we obviously for the longer journeys now are using just electricity. So obviously that £482 that we spent in petrol effectively gave us some mileage at the beginning of the year, but from May onwards we were just using electricity. So that will obviously account for some of that megawatt hour of additional usage in 2022 compared with 2021. The other thing also is the fact that we now have a fully electric hob. We don't use gas for cooking anymore, and so that also will push up our electricity usage compared to the previous year, 2021, when we still had a gas hob. We obviously still using gas for heating in 2022 as well as 2021, because I didn't manage to get the heat pump fitted as I wanted to in this year, but that's hopefully something that's going to happen next year now. Yeah, that's going to push our electricity usage in 2023 up even more than 2022. So it'll be interesting to see how much that goes up. So let's have a quick look at how much energy we did put into the cars in 2022. The Tesla, we put in 1,690 kilowatt hours. The Leaf, 1,520 kilowatt hours. And the PHEV, just 298 kilowatt hours. And obviously that's because we only put energy into it up until we sold it in sort of April, May time. That explains why that's so low, and obviously in 2023 that will disappear from this chart entirely, because it'll just be the Leaf and the Tesla from now on. Let's look at some of the financials now, and I obviously get FIT payments for my solar. I had mine installed quite a few years, about 9 years ago now, when the FIT scheme still existed. And so I get those payments every year, and in 2022 I received £1,138.74. That's up on the previous year, which in 2021 I only got £935.09. Now if we look at how much energy we used in terms of our bills, we paid out £503.74 on electricity and £600.12 on gas, and that gives a total of £1,103.86 is the total gas and electric bill for 2022. Now when we compare that with the FIT payment of £1,138.74, we see that our actual energy costs for the year are zero. In fact, we actually are up by £34.88. So having that FIT payment really does help to offset our other energy usage. And to come out with a £34.88 credit effectively after all of my energy usage for the year, and that includes now running cars, so we don't have petrol costs. That's effectively running the cars is included in that, and we're still effectively, it costs us nothing because of the amount of solar that we generate. So that's really fantastic. I think we didn't do that well in the previous year. In 2021, I think it was like £1.50 or something that we had to pay, and back then we were still running a car that took petrol to get mileage. So the fact that we, for at least half of this year, have been fully EVs, and we've still managed to effectively come out with a zero bill overall, is just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, very, very pleased with that. It'll be interesting to see how that differs next year when we've got a full year of only EV usage, and obviously we will hopefully have the heat pump installed, and that's obviously going to make a difference as well. So yeah, next year will be, I think it'll be much more difficult to have a zero bill. I think when we're running a heating system as well as 2 cars, we're almost certainly it's going to cost us money overall, but still nowhere near as much as, you know, a typical household without solar. So our total energy usage for 2022 was 12,496 kilowatt hours. So if we didn't have solar and we're just on a standard electricity tariff, that would have cost us about £4,000. As far as the cars go, we've done about 16,500 total electric miles in 2022. That's split over both the a little bit of the PHEV, but mostly the Tesla and the Leaf. And of that mileage, we spent about £115 charging from the grid using the cheap night rate electricity from Octopus Go. The rest of the home charging would have been free from the solar panels. And we also spent £455 on rapid chargers when we were travelling longer distances. So we went on holiday to Holland in 2022, and that whole trip across from the UK through Holland, through France, Belgium and into Holland, and then all the way back again, we had to use the Tesla superchargers all the way along there. So that includes that, and, you know, regular trips up north to drop my son off to university and pick him up and stuff. We have to use the superchargers for that too, and also trips home to see family. Yeah, where we did spend £482 in petrol in the PHEV just in the first sort of 4 or 5 months of the year before we got rid of it. We've only spent about the same amount on electric superchargers when we're out and about, you know, for the other sort of 7 months of the year, when we've been totally on all electric. So it's working out, you know, even using the rapid chargers with the hike in prices that we've had in electricity, it's still working out cheaper than having a petrol car. And yeah, when you can charge from home as well, then it makes it enormously cheaper. 2022 then, a brilliant year. Despite the fact that we're using, you know, over a megawatt hour more electricity due to the cars, and the fact that energy prices have gone up enormously compared to 2021, we've actually done better. We've got a zero bill and even a slight credit compared with what we achieved in 2021. So a fantastic year, really, really pleased. Considering I was also a battery down as well, which has hampered things only slightly, but it definitely has had an effect. Yeah, we've done really well. I think that's pretty much all the numbers for this year, just gone. And yeah, 2023 has begun. We are obviously still using gas at the moment. Hopefully we can get that completely cut off this year. And from the summer onwards, we will have the gas disconnected. And at the end of 2023, hopefully we can have some more interesting numbers in terms of how much it goes up by us having electric heating system instead of gas. But yeah, I'll leave it there. That's the numbers for 2022. Thanks everybody for watching. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Cheers.